This conference so competitive. I mean, even though they're in second place, Mike Bray's not kidding when he says my focus is to get to New York. It was a big step to do that.
15-4, now 5-2, second place in the Big East. Coming up next, Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price continues. NC State against Duke. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Bob Valvano and our entire ESPN crew, I'm John Saunders. Let's go to Mike Patrick and Len Elmore in Durham.
Thank you very much, John. 15:07 to go in the first half here. Duke off to a quick start, 10-5 over North Carolina State. Gonzalez, nice head fake, got into the lane, goes up with the left hand and knocks it down. What an emergence for this young man who had been mired in terrible play before the Georgia Tech game that we saw about a week ago. He really had a coming out party, and Lenny, he's continuing that kind of play.
Well, we witnessed the epiphany. This young man now is starting to understand what it takes, and NC State playing with an awful lot of confidence, although missed dunk right there.
Holy cow. Back the other way, and that should be goaltending, and it is. Fells flying in from the right wing and hammered it off the rim.
He kind of got away with a travel right there.
Only 3 steps, Len.
And he may have left a little too early, even with the 3 steps, as he hits the back of the rim. Missed opportunity for NC State, but Sidney Lowe still has to be pleased. His team has withstood a tremendous variety of pressure defenses from Duke. Turned the ball over early, looked like they might get blown out, but kind of settled down a little bit. A lot of it has to do with Javier Gonzalez, who's come in and really kind of righted the ship in their half-court offense.
He has kept his dribble alive until the time he makes a pass. Costner, a big key to this club. He's got a legitimate outside shot, even though he has struggled for a few games this year. Shire trying to go baseline, fouled by Horner.
We talk about Brandon Costner again. That's a guy that really has to understand his role. Sidney Lowe really has to get him in the game more and help him feel comfortable.
Got a problem right now because he's got, as you see, Mike Krzyzewski and his record at Duke and a superlative record against NC State. The problem is he's got 2 guys that he needs to have on the court, and they're both playing the same spot.
Yeah, and there may not be enough room in the post. And Costner didn't start the last game, didn't start this game. But he has a tremendous advantage to bring off the bench, forcing Duke to have to match up with him. But you've got to be able to play him a little bit at the high post, post him up when he's in the game a little bit lower, and allow him to get a good feel for what he needs to do. Ben McCauley, another guy, he's taken Costner's place in the starting lineup today. He's a guy that's tremendous in pressure release. Good passer, smart player.
Shire makes them both. He's come off the bench 11 times this year to score in double figures, so he has indeed been instant offense for the Blue Devils, a guy who started 31 of 32 games a year ago. Gonzalez with Paulus on him. Costner. Good defense by Thomas, stayed right in his face. The pass ahead. What a feed. Shire with a great pass.
Watching Costner right now, he felt he got fouled on that last play and has to maintain his poise. You can see him get really upset, but also kind of stifle whatever rage that he had and got focused on the ball game. And those are the things that knock a young man off of your game. You can't let those things bother you. You got to forget the last play.
Gonzalez recovered by McCauley, knocked away, and that'll be out to Duke. Good defense that time by Shire.
Again, here on the fast break situation, it's not only off the steal in the open floor, but even off the rebounds. Duke able to get people beyond the defense. And if they get open guys in the back, they're going to find them.
They will not allow you to rest, offensively or defensively. The pressure is on constantly. Shire fed it through the hands of Henderson that time. Everybody out there can handle the ball. King, The great shooter comes into Shire, tries to feed King, got caught up in the air, and here comes Gonzalez, 3-on-2.
Heck of a play by Gavin Grant. Good defense on one end. NC State with their brand of transition.
He can play, and here's a travel on Henderson.
Well, Gavin Grant of this roster is the only guy who's had experience on this floor. When you take a look here, earlier, point guard Marcus Johnson double team like a deer caught in the headlights. And the truck just rolled over NC State. Now with Marcus Johnson on the bench, Larry Harris, assistant coach, trying to give some encouragement, knowing that they're going to need him out there. But you got to be of a special mind to come out here and play against this pressure if you're a point guard.
He's back in the game and got off to a very, very rugged start. Couldn't get by a defender to set up any kind of passes. Fells is back in. They need his shooting. Grant, 9 on the shot clock, trying to work in against King. Now left alone with King on the ground. Will take it and knock it down.
Well, NC State staying in this ball game because when they get possession, go to their half court, if they withstand the pressure, they're able to run their stuff, and they want to run the clock down. They want to make the team, the opponents, play defense against them as long as it takes.
Good feed by Paulus, got it inside to DeMarcus Nelson. When we come back, it's not the Green Wave, it's actually the Blue Devil Crazies.
Country steak and egg toaster, huh?
No, man. Country fried steak, egg with gravy?
We're having steak and egg for breakfast,
I know.
pal.
This is it. We've made it.
Yes.
Now we can just sit and relax.
Yep. Enjoy the look from the mountain.
God, I guess it's all downhill from here, though, right?
Country steak and egg toaster sandwich. New at Sonic. Thick Texas toast, egg, country fried steak, and gravy. Grab one anytime because Sonic serves up a full menu all day and is open at 6 a.m.
In a place where giants sleep and magic reigns is a land of adventure. Play, discover, connect, experience real winter. Now playing in Central Oregon. For a sneak preview, get the guide at getrealwinter.com.
What happens when you combine this with this? You get results with House in Demand on Searchlight Channel 888.
When I first heard of On Demand for real estate, it clicked right away. People's schedules are so busy, this will be a way that they can just go home. If they want to look at property, it's a one click away. I think a lot of sellers are going to request, hey, I want my property on demand.
Select Channel 888 on your Comcast remote, then real estate, then home listings. Get results with House in Demand on Searchlight Channel 888.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by T. Rowe Price, providing investment management excellence for over 70 years. Invest with confidence.
Welcome to the Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price as part of Student Spirit Week presented by EAS. Yeah, the camera crazies, you're wearing green. You might think you're watching the wrong game, but you're not. It's an effort to show Duke's commitment to the environment. Bleed blue, live green. Part of Duke's participation in Focus the Nation. It's a nationwide student effort to make all campuses more environmentally friendly and responsible.
And that's a commitment to practice sustainable environmental acts such as recycling and water conservation, things of that nature. Everybody can pitch in to do it, and this show of green is that commitment. We just hope that everybody wearing those shirts actually practice what they preach.
Well, the first step may be to make them aware of it, and that would certainly do it. Paulus with a miss, offensive rebound, a rarity for Duke, and Thomas gets the follow. Those are bonus points when they get an offensive rebound and a putback. And then Thomas commits a foul trying to chase the ball.
Well, Duke has come into this game averaging about 24 points a game off turnovers, forcing opponents to about 19 turnovers. In the last 3 games, they've gotten 30 points off of turnovers. But in this game right now, the turnovers are even 4-4. And believe it or not, NC State has the points off turnover advantage 7-4. That's how they're staying in this ball game, turning the tables on the Blue Devils.
There comes a double team. McCauley puts it up. Did not get the roll. Somebody had to be open when he was double teamed that strongly down low.
But it was difficult for him to see because he was down low, if you will, with the ball and blocked by the defenders doubling him.
This is not the game that Mike Krzyzewski wants, this half-court duel. It's exactly what Sidney Lowe wants.
Absolutely. This is the style NC State can play and can play well.
Shire lost his balance, goes down. Paulus bangs into Fells, no call.
And a good no call. Both guys going for the ball. Incidental.
Grant baseline cut off, got between the defenders and draws the person. Nice slashing move by Gavin Grant. Now for Sports Center 30 at 30, Scott Reese.
Okay, Mike. Pac-Man Jones representatives told by high-ranking NFL officials not to expect reinstatement in the immediate future. Meanwhile, the Titans told Jones they plan to trade him once he is reinstated. And earlier, it was North Carolina dispatching of Boston College 91-69. All 5 heel starters in double figures, led by Tyler Hansborough's 18 points. Sports Center, ESPN 11 Eastern, and stay current with ESPN News. Mike.
Grant's first trip to the free throw line. He has 7 points already tonight. Misses the first, he'll get another.
And again, it's worth mentioning that Gavin Grant, recognizing this environment, is the only guy who has played a game here on this NC State roster. McCauley and Fells were on the bench the last time NC State was here. But Grant had a pretty good game, 13 points, 7 rebounds.
Grant, of course, the young man who said this was had the potential to be a Final Four team. Nice little dish to Singler. Can't hit the shot. One and done as Hickson rebound. Duke has hit 7 out of 11 shots so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, Farno Degan, the injured starting point guard, you know, he wasn't spectacular, but he was serviceable. He had good size, you know, able to score a little bit, averaged 7 points, 3 assists. Shot 50% from beyond the arc, so he was able to stretch the defenses. That would have made them a different type of team.
Hickson kicks it out. Nice shot by Javier Gonzalez. And NC State has a 1-point lead on the number 3 team in the country. Singler with a miss. Marcus Johnson.
You can't throw those passes.
Johnson making mistake after mistake. Courtney Fells called for the foul.
You can't throw cross-court passes. Duke's so adept at shooting the gap. And you look right there, DeMarcus Nelson just steps in that gap. Goes up, misses. It looks as though he was fouled. Official got there a little bit late, and I think that's why Fells is a little upset.
Len, you just can't do the things that Marcus Johnson is doing at the point. You can't pick up your dribble. You can't telegraph the pass. You can't throw it that softly. I mean, one of those mistakes is going to lead to a turnover.
And his teammates have to help him also.
Yeah, they do.
The pass is thrown. They have got to come to the ball.
NC State on a 9-2 run to take the lead here with 9:08 to go in the first half.
The thing about Duke is that you have to spread the floor, prevent the help side from getting there, and then you have to have guys capable of taking their defender off the dribble, penetrating. You can't go east-west against them.
Gonzalez to McCauley as they beat the press. McCauley's done a very good job helping out. And Gonzalez has more than held his own when he's been at the point. Grant trying to do too much one-on-one. Nelson picked his pocket. King, skip pass. Henderson sets up Smith. And Hickson with another rebound.
Well, the problem is right now NC State unable or maybe unwilling to go inside. You got to get yourself in position. If you're going to feed the post, you can't do it from the elbow or from the top. You've got to get down about a 45-degree angle, maneuver your man so that they can feed a J.J. Hickson or Ben McCauley down low.
Grant, nice pass. Gonzalez with a reverse underneath. Grant with an assist also has 11 points. It's a game high so far, and the lead is back to 2. And Smith just threw that one away right into the arms of McCauley. Gonzalez looks to Sidney Lowe for the play he wants. What a lot of confidence Gonzalez is playing with, and a bucket for Grant. He has 13. This is a confidence we did not see until midway through the Georgia Tech game, and you described it perfectly. He was challenged, and it looked like he just had enough of it.
And sometimes that type of adversity can send you packing, but for other guys who have something inside of them, it'll make you rise to the occasion, and Javier Gonzalez has risen to the occasion so far.
This is the same North Carolina State team that had 13, count them, 13 points in the first half against North Carolina. Hickson goes straight down the middle. It's a 15-3 Wolfpack run. DeMarcus Nelson.
Nelson's so under control right now. You talk about a leader of a team. He has demonstrated it obviously off the court, but now on the court. Poise, patience. He was able to get that shot just by putting it on the floor, pump faking, and then waiting for the defender to go past him.
Gonzalez with Smith all over him. 6:33 to go first half. NC State leading number 3 Duke. McCauley. Well, they found something they can do offensively, and they're starting to execute.
And it's the big fellas in the paint. It's the guards getting into paint and penetrating. And that's what you have to do with Duke. You cannot play around outside because they're too good at taking you out of your pattern.
DeMarcus Nelson bounces it out of bounds off his foot. Duke only has 7 team rebounds. Hickson has 8 individually so far.
Love toppings? Then get any large Lover's Pizza now for just $11.99. It's a whole lot more of the Pizza Hut toppings you love for less. Get more, not less. Pizza Hut. Order online.
Got tickets? Tickets? Tickets?
Dude.
Tickets? Tickets?
Dude.
Defense by NC State has gotten them to this lead. And look at Gonzalez again.
Turnover story is nearly even, and North Carolina State getting a huge first half out of Gavin Grant as he buries another one. Grant has hit 6 for 6 from the floor, has 16 points. The lead has grown to 9. And that's got to be goaltending on Hickson. Got a little bit too carried away.
Yeah, he thought he could get up higher than he actually did. But the drive by Singler, Duke not settling for the threes anymore. Ball definitely on the way down. But the Gonzalez penetration on the other end that led to the Grant 3. That's what you have to do against Duke. You have got to put pressure on their defense. You can't go east-west. And that's what happens there. I mean, you're going to have to live with that with Gonzalez.
Well, the way he's played the last couple of ball games, you can live quite nicely with his effort. Grant on DeMarcus Nelson. And we have a foul away from the ball. No, it was on Grant for holding. Our coverage of college basketball on ABC will continue Saturday. 2 of the top programs in the nation taking the court. You'll either see Kansas against Colorado or Miami facing number 2 Duke. College basketball presented by KFC as part of Student Spirit Week, presented by EAS on ABC Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. And we are projecting Duke to be number 2 next week.
Well, you
They're
take
number 3 in this poll, and Mike Krzyzewski obviously upset about something. Well, the clock is still running. They finally stop it at 5:02.
I was just going to mention that the Duke-Miami game, even though this is this is kind of a rivalry light because NC State is just in the neighborhood. It's not quite the same as Duke, Carolina. Miami is the tune-up. And you have to be very wary. First of all, Duke cannot look past NC State here because they're in a pitched battle. And certainly when they're playing Miami, they can't look ahead to the Carolina game that following Wednesday.
No, McClinton's liable to light you up for 35.
Yeah, you can't look past them.
And they're going to take a look at the clock and reset it to 5:25. 23 seconds had come off of the timepiece. Duke shooting 56% in this game, but they have had 7 fewer shots than North Carolina State. And the Wolfpack shooting 52%. Something you normally don't do against Duke because they are one of the best field goal percentage defenses in college basketball.
But what they're able to do again is take away your entry passes to your wings, force the ball handler to have to do it himself. And if you're not up to it as a point guard or the ball handler for your team, you're going to wind up turning it over.
Paulus knocks down the free throw. And he has made now 24 straight from the line, approaching 90% for the season.
Well, you talk about point guards and what a lift the combination of Paulus and Smith have given Duke, averaging 19.6 assists and only 3 turnovers per game in conference play. And I'd say that's a pretty nice combination there.
Gonzalez to Hickson. Hickson offensive foul.
And that's a huge foul. That's Hickson's second foul. And you got to wonder if Sidney Lowe is going to hang in there with him. Again, you got to turn and locate. He never located the defender. You know, McClure got there a little bit late. If Hickson had turned his body and saw him, he might have been able to make a move and avoided that.
And Sidney Lowe and his assistant coaches exploded off the bench. Nelson being held as he drived against Simon Harris, who's in for the first time, 6'5", 239.
You look at the delivery on the bounce pass, and again, Hickson started to bounce it before he turned. And against this Duke defense, you've got to be able to locate defenders before you launch into your move.
Nelson, only a 62% free throw shooter, knocks that one down. He has 7 points in the first half. We're at the 5:01 mark. Mike Patrick, Len Elmore, our entire ESPN crew. Glad you could join us here on ESPN2 this evening. Nelson short on the second. Duke nearly had it, but it comes out to Gonzalez. NC State by 4. If you're just joining us, it looked like Duke early was going to blow them out of the building, but they have recovered beautifully.
Here's an opportunity now. Brandon Costner down low, but can't really get it because of the tight defense being played on Gonzalez. Gonzalez is contesting, and we probably should watch later on whether or not legitimate 5-second call.
Now, he broke that quarter court mark, and it looked like it was before the 5-second call that the official whistled. And now we got a little pushing and shoving.
Well, you're going to take a look right here. First of all, Paulus not close enough right now to invoke the 5-second call. Now you see the official going. See, he broke it right there. I don't know how they can restart that call. He couldn't even, Greg Paulus couldn't even reach out and touch him. You have to be closely guarded, and that's what the rule is about.
I think Gonzalez got a bad deal on that one. Paulus so far 5 points on the night, misses the free throw after hitting his first 2. Unfamiliar territory for Duke right now,
especially at home.
Especially at home, not being able to run as well, and the half-court game is exactly what NC State wants, and that got the crowd into it when Paulus, with that Duke tradition of pounding the floor for defense. Costner, nice dish.
And that's where Costner can be effective. His versatility, his ability to put the ball on the floor. He's just not your average postman.
Paulus for three. Paulus is one of those guys, when you need something, he can step up.
And you can't ignore him if you're the defenders.
He's better than a 40% long-range shooter, and the ones he makes are critical usually. Gonzalez, nice pass.
And that's a hard foul, and I'm not sure now.
Paulus just reached in and hacked Costner, and Costner is really starched. Wow. I mean, he's ready to go.
Disciplined investing.
Was one of pure anger. Now, to be fair to Duke, last couple of games that I've seen, their guys have been the victims of plays just like that. Virginia Tech, and even a little bit of physical play in Maryland. So they're getting a little bit chippy because they've suffered from that.
Nice officiating job, too, as the refs jumped in there. And during the timeout, they were talking to the kids saying, we're not going to have any more of this. You got to calm down and control yourself.
Well, you can expect them to try to call it a little bit tighter even now, not to let this game get away from them.
Nelson, nice hesitation dribble. He's fouled from behind by Simon Harris. That'll be 2 on Simon Harris. More college basketball comes your way Saturday, presented by Alltel Wireless. Syracuse against Villanova at noon. Then at 9, watch our Saturday primetime game presented by DirecTV. The Pac-10 with Arizona against number 5 UCLA. All part of Student Spirit Week, presented by EAS. NC State with a surprise lead, trying to even their ACC record at 3-3, and this would be such a huge win for them. Thomas comes back in, and McClure goes to the bench. Duke with more depth in how many years, Glenn? 7, 8, 9, maybe? Than they've had in a long, long time.
Yeah, and the versatility of those guys. They may play small to a certain extent, but we've got so many guys that are capable of playing bigger than who they are. You know, you'll see at times 4 guards out there and maybe 1 front court player.
Thomas reaches around and commits the personal. And the guys, even that they have 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", pretty good ball handlers, more assists than turnovers, pretty good shooters. Yeah, it allows them to spread the court and really wreak havoc with your defense.
Yeah, that's the versatility and the ability to shoot from beyond the arc. Just about everybody, save maybe Lance Thomas and David McClure, everybody has range from beyond that arc. So they can spread you, and they can beat you off the bounce or from behind the line.
Costner with 5 first-half points. In the last 5 ball games, he has averaged less than 6 points a game, less than 2.5 rebounds, and he's only shot 28% from the floor. So they really need a better performance from him, and tonight they're getting it.
Well, it's no coincidence that he now is the post guy inside. McCauley goes to the high post. Costner now has some freedom to be able to post up, step outside, do the things that he does best. With J.J. Hickson in the game, it was more difficult for him to command some of the post time. And he really has to understand who he is and what his capabilities are with the personnel around him. Once he gets that done, he is a gifted player.
The lead is 4 for the Wolfpack, 36-32. Paulus over a screen, no. Costner with another rebound. NC State with twice as many rebounds as Duke. Gonzalez was shyer on him. There comes the double team.
That's the other thing. You fumble the ball, you can't panic. You got to go get it, and you got to go get it strong.
Costner. That's going to be a foul on Singler. That's a 3-point or 3-shot foul.
Well, again, uncharacteristic of Duke, who usually plays with a little more intelligence than fouling a 3-point shooter, especially a 3-point shooter who's only hitting about 34% and hasn't really been hot of late from beyond the arc.
And at the line, Costner normally lights out. Costner misses the second of 3. Right now, as far as threes, North Carolina State doing a much better job than Duke, which is a little shocking. 4 out of 5 from outside the arc. Duke only 2 out of 7. And Duke, incidentally, is the best three-point defensive squad in the ACC. Paulus had a toe on the line. Got it. 38-34, State.
It seems that Paulus is the guy that NC State will live with shooting out there as they try to shift their defense to help. He's gotten some wide open looks because his man has gone down to help and the ball has gone down low.
McCauley, they get it low to Costner. No bucket, but a foul.
And see, this is
ball movement, man.
It certainly is, and this is where they can really exploit Brandon Costner's advantage with his size and his strength down low. They're finding ways to get it to him. Straight post up, screen and rolls, flashing him into the post, and then on occasion he's got a good look from the outside.
Big foul on Shire. That's his third. You think being on the bench to start this ball game has had any effect on Costner?
Well, I mean, he was on the bench against Florida State their last game, and it had a detrimental effect against him. 12 minutes, didn't score. But I think here, as they continue to play this way, and they start to recognize that when he's in there by himself without Hickson commanding the low blocks, that there are very many ways you can employ his skills. And that gives him confidence. You go into him, guys feel better about themselves.
40-34, NC State by a half dozen. Nelson left alone for the 3, can't hit it. McCauley with the board.
And you mentioned it before, Mike. An excellent job. NC State. Duke is being relegated to 1 and out right now. NC State with 16 rebounds to Duke's 7. Not giving Duke second chance opportunities.
Gonzalez trying to penetrate, draws a foul on Nolan Smith.
And man, I am just knocked out by Gonzalez's aggressiveness in a game like this, where he began a little bit shaky, as did Marcus Johnson. And Gonzalez is now finding the paths to the basket, putting all sorts of pressure on the Duke D.
The number 3 team in the country being outplayed right now by the Wolfpack. And if I'm Sidney Lowe, I got to think when I look at Gonzalez that, you know, young man, you can probably play 38 minutes a game, can't you? You're young, you're in good shape. I'll let you know when you're tired.
And we need you.
Knocks him down, 41-34. This has got to be the best the Wolfpack has performed this year. They've had a couple of good wins, but this one would be enormous.
We torture tested 2 cars to prove a point about maximum horsepower.
State over the 3rd-ranked Blue Devils of Duke. And Len, there are a few things you can do here to get the team and the crowd fired up more than what Paulus is going to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a Duke tradition defensively right here. Getting your hands down and slapping the floor, that's telling everybody to get down and play defense. You know, he's carrying on that long tradition. Wojo, Steve Wojciechowski, he started that.
He was one of 4 National Defensive Players of the Year that Duke has had. King got that great range, goes in. That may have been too short for him.
Yeah, that was too close.
Offensive rebound and a foul on NC State. King's not used to being open inside 35 feet.
One of the few chances Duke has had to get second chance opportunities. This one paid off. Good hustle by G.Henderson.
2 on Gonzalez. They can ill afford to have him in foul trouble.
Sidney Lowe thinking the same way. Marcus Johnson back in the ball game. And you would hope, if you're Marcus Johnson, that he's able to sit there, gain perspective as to what Gonzalez has done to be effective out there. And a lot of it had to do with just recognizing opportunities to penetrate, beat your man off the bounce.
Because you know Duke's going to go right after him. Oh, yeah. Henderson hits both free throws, and he has 6.
So you can't play around in there. And if you got a chance to go, you got to go.
Got to look out for a 5-second count. McCauley got the roll.
Macaulay using that left with regularity on that side, and that's fundamentally sound.
NC State hustling back on defense to prevent the easy layup. Paulus says this is an offense full of decisions. D.Nelson lost the ball after the shot.
NC State now recognizing they've got some advantage in the post. Look at Horner right here leading on the baseline for Macaulay. That's the lost art of feeding the post. Macaulay had his man sealed on his back, gave the target to the baseline, and Horner delivered it. And you've got to be able to do that if you want any type of production from down low. You've got to be willing to get the ball down there where the guy can use it.
Singler, one of the most highly recruited young men coming out of high school, and the predictions that he would be indeed a special player at Duke. He has 7 points in the first half. Singler averaging 13 points a ball game this year. Missed the second one. And a reach-in foul on King. Taylor King, who was out of position, just reached across and took a slap at it. Coverage of college basketball on ABC will continue Saturday afternoon. Two of the top programs in the nation, number 2 Kansas against Colorado, or Miami against number 3 Duke. College basketball presented by KFC as part of the Student Spirit Week, presented by EAS on ABC Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Check the local listing. Costner 8 out of 9 from the line tonight.
Missed that one badly though, way short.
Yeah. The lead is 6. We're under a minute to go in the first half. And a very impressive opening 20 minutes for the Wolfpack.
Well, it's a high probability NC State is going to go into the locker room with a lead. But the one thing they cannot do is come out in the second half and try to protect whatever lead they have. You've got to be able to build on it. And they can ask Maryland exactly what that experience is about, because if you show any weakness, Duke will jump right on you.
Looked like Paulus lost his balance after he got into the lane.
Well, he was expecting contact. Kind of threw his body to the side. Nice move.
Johnson gets the basket. You got to be happy for him.
Well, as I said, he sat on the bench, watched Javier Gonzalez go north-south instead of east-west. And now he's picking up on it and recognizing, hey, I can do this too.
NC State's bench has outscored Duke 19-2. Here's King trying to change that a little strong on a 3. And the Wolfpack of North Carolina State with an exceptional first half behind Gavin Grant, leading 46-37, and Marcus Johnson, who has had no success whatsoever, gets the final bucket of the half for the Wolfpack. Our score at halftime, NC State 46-37 over Duke. Let's join Scott Reese in the studio for the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report.
Okay, Mike, so the Wolfpack trying to do just
of venerable Cameron Indoor Stadium, the quicker the pulse. The Cameron crazies that you know of added something extra tonight. The wearing of the green and a commitment to environmental causes. A subtext to the normal intensity of ACC basketball. There are commitments, and then there are commitments. When you're behind by 9 at the half at home, you're worried about the green. There's chanting. Duke is blue, not green. There goes the commitment to the environment and the T-shirts and everything. They want to win a game more than they want to save the planet. Well, this, after all, is the ACC, Mr. Elmore. Welcome to Thursday Night Showcase, presented by T. Rowe Price as part of Student Spirit Week, presented by EAS. They're committed to those green shirts like I'm committed to my New Year's resolutions.
Well, the shirts were supposed to symbolize awareness.
That guy should recommit.
They're saying, hey, we know. Talk about commitment, though. Sidney Lowe's got his guys committed. to playing their style of basketball, and the pace has favored them. They haven't turned it over in bunches, and they've been able to kind of manage the game and get their shooters the ball. They've been going inside out and doing a terrific job putting pressure on the Duke D.
Turnovers and pace are what Duke makes a living at. Henderson with a runner in the lane. It cuts the lead to 7. Second game in a row, down by 9 at the half. They made the great comeback against Maryland. A superb second half. Grant, who had a magnificent first half, had that one blocked by Singler, and the foul on Singler, and he didn't like the call. The bench points is what jumps out. Now, that's what Duke, you got Shire coming off the bench, King coming off the bench, guys who can fill it up, and NC State has gotten the points off the bench tonight.
And Brandon Costner, one of the main guys in leading that bench surge. But when you talk about the 2 times that Duke has been behind at half, at the Maryland game and in this game, Maryland was complicit in Duke's spectacular comeback because they played the game to try not to lose as opposed to trying to build the lead. NC State cannot afford to fall into that trap. They have to maintain their aggressiveness and stick with the game plan.
Grant with 17 points as he hit 1 or 2. DeMarcus Nelson, that's going to be a blocking foul on Gonzalez, and that's not good because Gonzalez has 3. And Marcus Johnson immediately is going to come in for Sidney Lowe.
Well, Sidney Lowe trying to develop a 2-headed monster at point guard. Wants those guys to play within themselves.
He's only got 1 head so far.
And play as mistake-free as they possibly can.
Henderson baseline against Hickson, can't hit it. And McCauley got hit a couple of times. Once in the face and then took a basketball in the stomach. And Duke gets the follow to cut the lead to 6.
And that's a much better job of Hickson turning and facing. That way he doesn't draw the offensive foul.
Hickson a little fadeaway. He is skilled offensively beyond his years.
He did a great job of taking the double team, getting the ball out, and then resetting.
Singler open for 3 after good ball movement. Here come the Blue Devils. 49-44. And without the green T-shirts, the Crazies are back in it. Grant helping on the pressure, trying to relieve some of that on Gonzalez, who's covered by Paulus.
Can't go east-west now. You've got to be able to penetrate once you get that floor spread.
And outside of 1 possession, that's all he has done. Fells from long range, in and out, had it halfway down. Courtney Fells, such a good long-range shooter, could not bury that one. Nelson into the lane with a runner, no. And McCauley lost it out of bounds.
Well, J.J. Hickson, such a key for NC State, particularly against this Duke team that has trouble with big men. Takes the double team, and then he resets. And now he resets in a position where the double team can't touch him. Just one-on-one, he and Singler, and Hickson's going to get the best of that more times than not.
DeMarcus Nelson, Duke loves to isolate guys so they can play one-on-one. Henderson, fade away, hit it. 49-46. This is the way Duke played in the second half against Maryland. They come out on fire. They've cut a 9-point lead to 3. Timeout with 17:30 to go from Durham. Stay with it.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
Love toppings? Then get any large Lovers.
ESPN2, an amazing ESPN2 HD presented by Olivia. Focus the Nation Day is the reason for the green T-shirts that were passed out as an environmental commitment. Before the game, most of the Duke Crazies were wearing them, but with Duke down by 9 at the half, they went flying onto the court and off the backs of the students, and Duke has responded by cutting the lead to 3. McCauley, nice feed to Hickson.
High-low. High-low, that's what you have to do. McCauley, terrific against pressure as a pressure release, coming out high and looking for his man down low.
As I remember, you and Tom McMillan executed that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, that was the bread and butter right there, and you always use it against teams that wanted to double.
Paulus, Duke has hit 5 of its first 7 shots, and they're back within 2.
And you talk about recommitment. I think Duke came out here recommitted to playing their brand of basketball. Excellent ball movement and going to their strengths, the ability to hit from beyond the arc and get open shots.
Gonzalez got by Paulus, and that's an offensive foul. Got in too deep.
Yeah, Johnson really got in too deep. You look at the high-low right there. That's bringing the help side away and allowing Hickson to play down there by himself. And, of course, Paulus, again, Johnson just lets him go. Seems as though they're more concerned about penetration and backing off than they are about covering the shooters. And Greg Paulus has been pretty much lights out from beyond that arc when he gets an open look.
You better start worrying about him. He has 14 points and has hit 3 out of 4 from long range. Last foul was on McCauley, and here's what the students were doing at the half. Well, it's one thing to be committed to the environment, but by God, we're down by 9 at the half. Come on.
Well, they said they'll commit to the environment outside. Inside, they want to make this as environmentally unfriendly to NC State.
Paulus again, and Duke is back on top. It took them less than 4 minutes to erase a 9-point lead. What a run. Mike Krzyzewski said before the game, this is a good team. It might be a very good team. I don't think of it being a great team. I don't know. I think they're already very good.
Well, they certainly were going to make a run, no question about it. Able to get this crowd into the ball game, and Greg Paulus has been the leader. And there he is, inciting, just getting the job done.
ESPNU brings you National Signing Day. Time for recruits to commit.
The University of Southern California.
Santana and the Mets on a contract extension, which means he is not yet a Met. Jason Stark reports unlikely a deal will be reached before Friday morning. And a great ball game earlier in the association. The Pistons beat the Lakers 90-89 on a Tayshaun Prince 3 with 4.4 on the clock. Look at Kobe's line, 39 and 10, 11 turnovers. SportsCenter 11 Eastern ESPN. Stay current with ESPN News. Mike?
All right, thanks, Scott. Duke's first lead since there was only 10:05 to go in the first half, as they have come storming back. Hickson at the line, only 1 out of 3 from the line tonight. They get 1 out of 4.
Look at Costner with the
side. Nice, tough rebound by Costner, and it stayed back by a point. That should never happen.
Although that first half has really made Brandon Costner feel as though he's part of this ball game and part of this team. And he's playing like he did last year.
Thomas goes with a left hand, missed it. Good defense by Hickson. Thomas had it blocked, and Courtney Fells just took it away from him. NC State running the court.
And we got some State fans
tomahawk. Here. Yes, there are. Duke fans, too.
At least for a little while.
Paulus is on fire. He's hit 4 out of 5 threes. We're tied at 55. An unexpected great game.
And Paulus doing a terrific job of losing his man. Gonzalez has no idea of where he is.
Costner, good feed to Hickson, but outstanding defense by Henderson to knock it away. That's a walk.
Take a look at the defense right here. Watch Courtney Fells just go up and just snatch that ball right away. One hand from Lance Thomas.
I'll take that. Looked like a peach. And they get the ball to Gavin Grant. He's 7 out of 7 from the floor with 19 points.
Going east-west right now is NC State, and that's danger time for them. Duke's defense and their pressure is terrific when they get you going that way. Look at this.
Paulus, and what a pass. McClure. Greg Paulus having what may be his best game of the year. He has been terrific.
Both ends of the floor. Look at the pressure, ball pressure. That's where the Duke defense begins.
That ball hit Fells right in the chops. Paulus behind the back. Singler. Holy cow. Paulus has been lights out, Len Elmore.
Well, considering the inexperience of the guards for NC State, G.Paulus just taken full advantage of it. As I mentioned, going east-west is a big mistake. And here Paulus on transition just draws Courtney Fells into his little trap. And a terrific over-the-shoulder pass. They like it.
They love it. Paulus, 20 points on 5 out of 7 from long range and 3 big-time assists.
And going back to the inexperience of most of the players on this floor, particularly in playing here in Cameron, that was a good timeout by Sidney Lowe to kind of get his guys refocused.
Season high for Paulus. And that's going to be a foul on McClure as Fells went right to the rack. And boy, there are people staring at each other on that court. I mean, they are just banging and evil looks when a play is over.
Well, they're attacking. Both teams are attacking the rim. I'll tell you what, though, Sidney Lowe in that timeout, not only did he try to get his guys refocused, but he also probably challenged them. Maybe even challenged their manhood. And right there, you see Courtney Fells trying to strike their first blow. But those looks mean nothing if you don't drop the free throws. You haven't done anything.
McClure got his 3rd foul, and Courtney Fells so far has been shut out. He averages over 11 points a game.
And he can look all he wants. He better start putting some points up.
Looks don't get you in the scoring column. And he'll come out of the ball game for Sidney Lowe. Duke by 3, 13:45 to go. This has really gone back and forth. The lead has changed hands 5 times. Shire is in. The Duke bench has done nothing tonight, but Shire will draw a foul there. We'll have more college basketball on Saturday, presented by Alltel Wireless, with Syracuse meets Villanova at noon. Then at 9, our Saturday primetime game, presented by DirecTV. We'll go out to the Pac-10, Arizona against number 5 at UCLA, all part of Student Spirit Week, presented by EAS. Shire only 2 points tonight. Now 3, and he's gotten them all from the free throw line.
Now, this is a point in time now NC State absolutely needs to answer. Can't afford to go down this trip without putting some points on the board. As Duke has really found his stride.
Shire 5th in the ACC in free throw shooting, knocks them both down. The lead is 5. Gonzalez playing the point with those 3 personal fouls.
Look down low. The likely guy to begin with is Brandon Costner. Singler doing a nice job. He knows what's coming. He's trying to front Costner.
Nearly stolen by McClure, instead his 4th foul. And McClure, probably their best man-to-man defender.
He is, and he puts all of himself into it. Doesn't really look to score much.
David Cutcliffe, ex of Tennessee and ex-Ole Miss head coach, the new head football coach at Duke. He will have an impact. He is a brilliant offensive mind and great with quarterbacks. Worked with both Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. It doesn't get too much better than that, along with a few others at Tennessee.
Trying to bottle this excitement and see how he can bring it to the field.
Costner, little off balance, missed it. Paulus couldn't get the rebound. Grant did, and fouled by Paulus. That's 2 on Paulus, who really had a brilliant game. He and Grant have just been sensational.
Well, the question is whether football can be raised to a higher level here with the academic constraints and obviously the commitment to quality. I think it can be. It takes a special person. If you can do it in basketball, given time, you should be able to do it in football.
Corner out of the corner, too strong. I only need to remind you that Steve Spurrier did it here. Not only did he win, he won an ACC championship. And if he hadn't left, he was going to be able to sustain the program because he got the guys to fit his system. And then Cutcliffe would do the same thing. He's not going to be able to run the same kind of offense he ran at Tennessee because he had much better athletes and a lot of them. But he'll find a way to win here. 63-56. If you're NC State, this is a guy you want to have the basketball.
Problem is he hasn't touched it that often, and certainly not a good shot. Good defense by D.Nelson in a one-on-one situation.
Shot clock at 10. Gonzalez, nice passing. Good ball movement. Costner open. No. They've missed 2 long-range shots. Thomas couldn't save it. All he had to do was let it go. Sidney Lowe has seen a lead evaporate. He's gone from up 9 to down 7.
In-game update. How about this over on ESPN? Wisconsin, Indiana. Brian Butch with actually that's Greg Steamsman with a putback, and Wisconsin was up by 20, but back come the Hoosiers. Eric Gordon hit a big 3, and then DJ White will follow this miss with a putback and the foul. He's got 18 points and 13 rebounds. We got a 7-point game in Madison. Gentlemen.
And we've got a thriller right here in Durham. Duke has outscored NC State 26-10 in the second half, and they put Gonzalez 90 feet away from the ball to throw it into him in backcourt.
That's to avoid the pressure.
Worked beautifully, and then they missed the shot with Hickson.
Bad shot by Hickson. You've got to recognize he's being doubled. Turn and face and locate before you commit.
Duke will turn it over. Gonzalez goes down hard. It's going to be a foul. Gonzalez and Singler staring at each other.
And you see G.Paulus jump off the bench and tell Singler to get on down the floor.
It's 3 on Singler.
Singler just loses the handle of it. Smith
didn't do anything.
Right, Smith inadvertently came underneath him, but after the play, Singler looked down and Gonzalez said something, and then they both started jawing, and then Paulus, like a leader should, tell Singler to get out of there. Let's play basketball.
Travel on Fells, who's just had a miserable night.
You can tell Duke's offense really working. Only 11 field goals in the first half. Here at 11:20 approximately left, they've already got 10 field goals. So it's a combination of their hot shooting and some porous NC State defense. Plus the fact NC State starting to turn the ball over a little bit more.
Singler got a good screen from Lance Thomas, worked around it and knocked down the jumper. Paulus will come in on the next dead ball as Mike Krzyzewski gave him an oh-so-brief rest.
And as hot as Duke is offensively with open shots, that's how cold NC State has been. They've gotten open looks.
Paulus back in, as is Henderson. NC State hasn't hit a field goal in nearly 5 minutes. They've been outscored 18 points in the second half.
Here it is again. Gonzalez way in the backcourt. One, to avoid pressure, and secondly, try to get a running start. Again, you cannot go east-west against Duke. You've got to be able to go north-south. You pick up your dribble there, and you're going to have all sorts of problems getting the ball to your wings.
Fells, dangerous pass. Whistle away from the ball. It's going to be a foul on Thomas, is it? That will be 4 on Lance Thomas. So Duke getting in some foul trouble again. They've been in foul trouble the last couple of ball games that they've played. Well, a big update on our Star Watch, and Paul is certainly getting the best of this.
Well, a big reason why they've gotten in foul trouble is, again, the teams that they've played, most recently Osby and Maryland, had that big monster in the middle with the ability to put a lot of pressure on them, and him going block to block really forced Lance Thomas to focus on guarding him. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't pay when you can't hit the free throws.
Hickson 1 out of 5 from the line. That just hurts so much. What a drive. DeMarcus Nelson goes baseline right into to the bucket.
Hard, aggressive move by Nelson, helped out by the fact that Hickson had his head back on the free throw line where he missed the free throws, never paid attention.
Duke is just ripping NC State right now. Hickson glides down the lane, got the roll on that one. What a talent. But the momentum is all Duke as we have gone under 10. Another drive down the lane. No basket. The foul came first on McCauley.
Talk about bringing excitement to the crowd. DeMarcus Nelson with extraordinary athleticism. You see Hickson getting over there too late. Kind of reminds you of another Blue Devil, Dante Jones, a guy who brought a lot of creativity and a lot of excitement with his variety of dunks and athletic plays.
Nelson at 6'4", plays more like he's 6'7" or 6'8".
You know, in this system he has to because they do go small, but with that upper body strength, that explosiveness that he has, it just makes it look easy.
Look at that ball movement. Shire's wide open. Paulus knew exactly where his teammate was when he got that ball, dished it to Shire. Couldn't have been more open, and it's 70-58. What a night for Paulus. He has been terrific. And right on cue, makes another steal.
It's almost too easy right now. Look how deep the defense is.
That's going to be a foul on McCauley, and McCauley just took Shire and pitched him out of bounds.
Well, NC State defense hasn't responded here in the second half. Too many wide open looks for Duke. Not to take anything away from how assertive the Blue Devils have been, but State has just made it easy for them.
I thought Mike Krzyzewski in our pregame conversation made a great point, a point that actually shocked me a little bit, and I want to get your opinion on it. He says the ACC and college basketball in general has become more physical than the NBA because in the NBA they won't let you hand check, they won't let you put a forearm in the back of a guy, and he'd like to see it go back more to the way it was.
Well, that's the way we played. I mean, we couldn't play physical. Our games are more finesse than anything else. Certainly you needed strength at certain parts of the game, but basketball certainly is a contact sport, but it certainly should not approach being a collision sport.
I agree.
The thing about basketball is what you want out of it is energy, excitement, and certainly showcasing skills. And we talked about the comparison here, and this is what they build over the years and what they bring to the show. And DeMarcus Nelson, again, he's one of those guys that has the skills and certainly has brought energy and excitement to this crowd.
And don't you think skill is diminished when the game becomes more physical?
Yeah, I mean, usually at that time it becomes about who's bigger and stronger. This game is not only about size, it's about quickness, it's about guile, and overall basketball intelligence. And we've gone away from that.
At times it's almost like hockey with an enforcer.
Yeah, we've gone away from that.
Duke has hit 5 out of 6 threes in the second half. Paulus down the lane with a floater. But then out of bounds.
Sorry, Mike. Then again, based on Mike's comment, that comment actually fits his team. They're not the biggest team in the world. They're more of a finesse and quickness team. I'm not sure he would have said that same thing if he still had Sheldon Williams inside. Because Sheldon Williams was a master at playing physical intimidation and things of that nature.
Yes,
so
he was.
You know, because sometimes it comes down to fitting the program that you have.
Paulus, another great feed. What a follow! Are you kidding me? Henderson with one hand off the glass, and while he was still in the air, put it right back.
And that's the kind of stuff that totally demoralizes the opponent. And I got a feeling right now NC State is on the brink of being demoralized.
Grant, nice drive, fouled by Shire.
Just a tremendous athletic play. Watch Henderson go up, control it with one hand. So he gets his bearings on the backboard and just kisses it off the glass as if he shot a jumper.
Now, did they count that basket? Not that one, but the one that Kevin Grant just scored. I think they called, I know they called Shire for his 4th foul. I think they counted the basket. And he was fouled a long way away from the bucket. That's 21 points for Grant, who has not missed a field goal, only tried 8.
And remember, this is the man, the only man for NC State that has any experience playing in this environment on this floor. McCauley and Fell sat on the bench the last time NC State was here, but Grant is the only guy that played this game.
22 points for Grant, only 3 shy of his career high. And Paulus just got knocked out of the way by Costner. What a silly foul by Costner.
Well, the demoralization of this team sometimes manifests itself in silly fouls. You know, physical fouls, retaliatory fouls. And you got to be able to keep your poise.
Here's what happened at halftime with all the students who were wearing green for Focus the Nation Day on environmental causes. They were down by 9 points. They wanted to focus more on the basketball game. So Paulus will go to the line. 20 points tonight for Paulus. A nearly flawless floor game on both ends of the court.
I think the next time you want to try a promotional T-shirt like that, you might want to do it in baseball. Duke baseball might be a better place.
Yeah. They don't throw any souvenirs back at baseball games. Paulus with 22, and the lead is 13. But keep in mind, there's a lot of time to go, and Duke is in a lot of foul trouble. Grant trying to get away from the double team. Paulus directing traffic. Forced him to go to the left, which he doesn't like to do. And Thomas with a rebound. Great positional defense by Paulus on a guy who's much bigger than he is.
And Duke also doing a better job on the glass right now, not giving up second chance opportunity and getting some of those themselves. That was one of the deficits that plagued them in the first half. They were one and done pretty much and not able to get second chance opportunity.
Now Mike Krzyzewski wants to shorten the game. D.Nelson throws it away. Grant back the other way, and Grant has the ball knocked away from him. Duke with 10 steals on the night, 5 for NC State. And Duke wants to work on that clock because they have a 13-point lead.
At T. Rowe Price, successful investing is about balancing risk and reward intelligently. For each 3, 5, and 10-year period, over 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average, finding the right opportunity. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Love toppings? Then get any large Lover's Pizza now for just $11.99. It's a whole lot more of the Pizza Hut toppings you love for less. Get more, not less. Pizza Hut. Order online.
College is the best time of your life? Yeah, right. I have my final exam in biology tomorrow, and I still have no clue.
Biology? No problem. Come here and I'll teach you that.
Oh, no, stop. The test tomorrow is all about the theory of biochemistry, not about its practice. I can't cover both in one night.
Sure you can. Here, have a Red Bull. It vitalizes body and mind.
Then what?
Then we start with practice and work our way back to theory.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Love toppings? Then get any large Lover's Pizza now for just $11.99. It's a whole lot more of the Pizza Hut toppings you love for less. Get more, not less. Pizza Hut. Order online.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by T. Rowe Price, providing investment management excellence for over 70 years. Invest with confidence.
Welcome back at 74-61. Number 3 Duke has overcome a 9-point deficit to get back in this ball game and take the lead. Coverage of our college basketball great games continues on ABC Saturday afternoon. 2 of the best programs in the nation take the court. You'll see the number 2 Kansas against Colorado or Miami against number 3 Duke. College basketball presented by KFC as part of Student Spirit Week presented by EAS on ABC Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, and you better watch it PDQ.
We saw that number 2 next to Kansas. After the loss at Kansas State, you expect them to drop down a few notches. It's a tremendous game by the young freshman stars of Kansas State, particularly Michael Beasley, who might have made himself, a major contender for Player of the Year.
Grant slashes along the baseline. Great move. Couldn't hit it, but a foul. Duke shooting 66% in the second half. That's why they have made that comeback.
And that's the story of NC State's offensive woes right there. Getting good shots. Getting balls on the rim, around the rim, every place but inside.
Foul was on Singler. That's his third. So foul troubles continue to mount for the Blue Devils. It's one of the reasons you'll see him spread the court.
Well, which tells me that NC State, obviously they need to shake loose a few turnovers, maybe start shoring up their rebounding on the defensive end and come down and quickly attack Duke to kind of give them enough time to try to get some people in foul trouble, get some folks out of the game. But they can't wait. They've got to extend their defense, which plays right into Duke's hands. So good off the dribble, so good at penetrating and kicking.
24 points for Gavin Grant tonight, only one under his career high. Mike Krzyzewski questioning something. And we'll try to find out what it is. Getting an explanation. G.Paulus in the second half, he's been the difference, Len. He has just been absolutely sensational.
And every time you see him with that open look, you see Gonzalez there too late. You would think eventually that he'll realize that Paulus is having a whale of a game. And on the defensive end, as I said, you're playing in Duke's hands when you're going east-west. And then a little showtime. G.Paulus.
Well, here's the story for Duke. Paulus, as you see, 22 points, the sixth Duke player. That emphasizes their balanced scoring to go over 20. Thomas, Shire, and McClure, all with 4 fouls for Duke. Smith and Singler all have 3. And even though they have the increased depth this year, that's an awful lot of foul trouble with 7 minutes to go. Oh, Grant, boy, thought he had all ball. So did he.
Actually, from this vantage point, looked like he did as well. But Duke, again, putting pressure on NC State. Driving to the basket each time with the penetrating kick. You take a look right here. Absolutely all ball.
I thought so.
It's a tough call for the official on the baseline. You know, that shouldn't be his call. That should be the call of an official out top where they can see it a little bit better. But
12 points for Nelson. He's been so important to this team. Named the single captain this year. He has obviously been the leader and done a great job of it. And Mike Krzyzewski is someone who probably believes in leadership more than anybody else in college basketball. He lectures on it. He studies it.
And he has extolled the virtues of DeMarcus Nelson's leadership. And quite honestly, you look at Nelson's numbers, particularly in conference play, he's playing as well as anybody.
Boy, here's a silly foul on Hickson. He's away from the ball and throws a forearm at Lance Thomas. I mean, sometimes you got to wonder what these guys are thinking.
Well, again, the first thing that goes when you've kind of been demoralized is your poise. You lose your poise. Of course, Lance Thomas just waiting for that moment. Hickson's such a physical player that as soon as there was contact, he was going to take the fall, but it was a foul. And Hickson, obviously, as a freshman, is going to learn better. But that's usually what happens. You lose your poise when you're down.
And Duke does not lose its poise. They move the ball precisely, and it's 79-63. These things are just daggers in the heart. They make you play defense for 30 seconds. You make one mistake, and they bury it. That's Lance Thomas. That's 5. He's gone. Lance Thomas fouls out at the 6:15 mark. Mike Krzyzewski calls his team over because this is basically a free timeout. You've got a few seconds to change your lineup after somebody fouls out. And I wish they'd get rid of this rule. What a second half for Duke, Len. NC State had outplayed them in the first half, especially the last 10 minutes of the first half, had a 9-point lead, and Duke came out just hitting on every cylinder.
Well, they recommitted to running their stuff getting NC State to turn the ball over. They started to assert themselves on the offensive glass. And once again, a team that gets a lead on Duke, they come out in the second half a bit intimidated by the fact that they've got the lead, and they sit on it as opposed to maintaining that aggressiveness and try to build it. We saw it against Maryland at Maryland. And we talked to the Maryland players afterwards, Nambali Osby in particular, and for the rest of that week after that game, they worked on learning how to play with a lead. And that's what you have to do. That's an acquired skill. And a young team like NC State, after this game, they're going to learn as well how to play with a lead.
And Mike Krzyzewski had nothing but good things to say about Maryland after that game the other night about how good they were, particularly Gist and Osby. 79-65. Duke will milk the clock. Henderson is at an offensive foul, used his free arm, and it was. It's only one on Henderson. He's the only one that doesn't have any foul troubles, and a bad foul on his part.
Well, again, that's one of those plays. We talked about some of the bad habits that young players today have. That's one of them, using that off arm and really extending it. And you'll see that a lot out here. You know, it's just that guys don't act as well to be able to draw the officials' attention.
Under 6 minutes to play. The lead is 14. NC State's going to have to do something basically with every possession from now on. Costner in and out. He's had a couple of tough three-point shots. Henderson back the other way. Great feed to Singler. Off balance, missed the shot, but the follow from D.Nelson.
You know, Singler wanted to dunk that one.
Yeah.
He realizes a little bit too far, but D.Nelson, the leader that he is, had his back.
Costner, offensive foul.
Whatever happened,
just waiting for him.
Whatever happened to the one dribble, two dribble pull up and use the backboard? It's either all the way to the basket or shoot a three. You know, guys today have to work on that mid-range game. You will not beat Duke unless you master that mid-range jump shot.
And there's nothing wrong with pulling up in a lane and taking an 8-footer either.
That's what I'm saying. They are so good at drawing the charges, getting good defensive position. You cannot be complicit.
Well, we've said it before. Guys like to practice the things that they're good at and not the things that they necessarily don't know how to do. If you don't practice mid-range jump shots, you're never going to take them in a game.
G.Paulus got away the same kind of push-off. Guys have to stop doing that. In a game like this, it's not going to matter.
DeMarcus Nelson scores at one end, Grant back the other. Gavin Grant with a signature evening.
In a game like this, that one-arm push-off is not going to matter, but in a tight game situation, could be all the difference between winning and losing.
Career high 26 points for Gavin Grant. But it's not going to be enough. Nelson down the lane. Look at the ball movement. Offensive rebound, fresh 35. Well, they're not only good, they're pretty darn smart. And they're so good at this because nearly everybody can handle the ball well. Gonzalez doing a pretty good job on Paulus.
I'm trying to figure out where was that defense at the beginning of the second half?
Yeah. Well, Duke really overwhelmed them with their intensity. When we come back, Len speaks out on a timely NCAA settlement in the news.
Fellas, welcome to our camp. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just work together with me. Knock it away from him. Use the board.
If you could go to a camp with Coach K.
Bring it in again.
For the same price as one with Coach J.
Taste it. Work it. Nasty.
Why wouldn't you?
Right.
It's the same with car insurance. If you could get the personal service of a State Farm agent for the same or less than those other guys, why wouldn't you? Nobody can match our combination of service and low rates. Get a quote today.
Give me the ball.
I love beer. I drink beer daily on Taste Panel here at the brewery.
This isn't like other beer companies. Everyone in here knows how to brew. We're a company of beer geeks.
Y'all have yourself a good weekend.
Samuel Adams employees, from the head of the legal department to the newest sales rep that we hired, learns how to brew beer. You need passion. You have to actually believe in what you're doing.
That's why I'm here. I love beer.
Sam Adams tastes great because happy employees make better beer.
Love my job.
Like zoinks, it's the cable guy.
Chinkies? Well, now that DirecTV has way more HD channels than cable, it's no wonder the cable guy tried to stop everyone from switching to DirecTV.
And I could have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your dog.
Scooby-Doo!
Hook up your new flat screen to over 90 of the best HD channels. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Enjoy a world of freedom with Indulge-A-Bath. Getting into your tub has never been easier. The comfortable built-in seat ensures complete safety. The hydrotherapy jets are therapeutic, and the adjustable shower head can be used while sitting or standing. Indulge-A-Bath gives you more great features for your money, and there's a worry-free warranty. You could receive a $750 cash rebate. Call now for your free information pack. Indulge-A-Bath, the world's best walk-in tubs, made in the USA.
Duke has broken open a close game now with an 84-67 lead, 3:54 to go. Lenny, some really good news for athletes in the news this week.
Well, and how highly appropriate it is, this being Student Spirit Week, but we've got to take our hats off to the NCAA for proposing a settlement in the antitrust suit that essentially worked to the issue of whether or not room, board, books, and tuition was enough to cover the cost of an education for student athletes. You take your hat off to the NCAA for recognizing that that would be a losing case, even not in court, but also it being as a question of whether it's equitable or not. And what it comes down to is the NCAA did their own studies and recognized that student athletes getting room, board, books, and tuition still had to expend on average $2,500 out of their pockets. The settlement proposes having a fund where needy students can apply and get that type of money to help them do just the easy things on campus. Maybe go out for a date, buy some clothes, make them feel as though they're part of the university community. It's not only equitable for the NCAA in light of the billions that they make from college basketball, but it's also the right thing to do.
I agree with you, Len. And one of the problems is that I've had people say, well, why don't they go out and get jobs like other kids? Well, they have to commit so much to athletics.
This is a job.
Sure. That they don't have time to have a part-time job.
You know, in the end, even when I played, we were allowed $15 a month laundry money, and I definitely didn't come from means. That $15 a month meant a lot to me. You know, I was able to go out with friends. I was able to go out on a date periodically. My parents couldn't just write a blank check. And there are so many athletes, they approximate maybe 12,000 athletes are going to be able to apply for this. And it should be based on need. But it's going to go a long way in maybe solidifying relationship between student athletes and their university community.
Yeah, I think it's a terrific decision. Hickson with a double-double tonight, 14 points and 10 boards. Some really good individual achievements and some good things to look back on for NC State, particularly their first half performance, but they have just been shredded by Duke in the second half.
Yeah, Duke playing like Duke. Playing like possibly a #1 team, although Memphis probably will get that nod. But I can't see Memphis playing any better than this team right here.
No, it's hard to imagine anybody in college basketball playing anybody any better than they are right now. Paulus just having a career game. He's credited officially with 5 assists, but it seems like twice that many.
Yeah, G.Paulus took advantage of the inexperience of the two-headed monster for NC State, Johnson and Gonzalez. Got himself in position for wide-open shots, made big defensive plays. And just really
short on the 3, offensive rebound and the foul. Well, Duke can do no wrong right now.
Well, Paulus is really the catalyst.
Paulus gets a rebound.
Doing a little bit of everything, huh?
Yeah, he might go over and draw some X's and O's on Mike Krzyzewski's board.
It's when he goes down for a slam that I'll get out of my seat right now. The other stuff I expect that he's able to do.
Well, there's 2 minutes left. Who knows? Duke's so good at taking the air out of the ball, making it a shorter game. When they get the lead in the late stages of the ball game, it's just so hard to get it away from them. And they are a good enough free throw shooting team that it's difficult to catch up by fouling. Smith right now in there along with Paulus because of his ball handling ability. And NC State, after a great first half, is going to finish 2-4 in the ACC after this game. Duke will remain undefeated. Mike Krzyzewski is going to win another ball game.
And all it goes to show you is that a half of basketball is not good enough when you're playing the Blue Devils. Full 40 minutes.
And a hard 40 minutes as well. Well, Paulus didn't get the jam, but he got the assist.
That's close enough.
Duke going for an 18-1 record. Coverage of college basketball on ABC continues Saturday. Two of the top programs in the nation, Duke against Miami or number 2 Kansas against Colorado. College basketball presented by KFC as part of Student Spirit Week, presented by EAS on ABC Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Check your local listing for the game in your area.
And you can imagine the amount of attention Miami's terrific guard Jack McClinton's going to get from Duke.
If you wonder what these are, it was a commitment to the environment to wear the green T-shirts handed out to all the Cameron crazies on Focus the Nation Day, and they were all for it. But then they found their team down by 9 at the half. So much for the T-shirts. Trevor Ferguson, the sophomore into the ball game, he got a basket. And a rewarding night for the Cameron Crazies, who saw their team come back with an absolutely brilliant second half.
However, though, could be a mental trap as they might get a little more superstitious. Once they take those green shirts off, their team comes roaring back.
The cheers for Jordan Davidson as he goes down the lane, hits a basket. Davidson makes only his second field goal of the season.
It's a little backdoor action right there. Simon Harris, a guy who's probably as deep on the bench as Davidson is for Duke, just totally forgot where he was.
Guys that get in the last couple of minutes, if they're lucky, as King gets an offensive rebound, are guys that work so hard in practice, never get any credit. It's nice to see them
well, that's where the appreciation
get 15 seconds of fame. Exactly.
That's where the appreciation comes from.
Shire, who for a change did not have a great game coming off the bench, dribbling out the clock. Tip your cap to Duke. Down 9 at the half, being outplayed by a fired-up NC State team. They came roaring back in the second half and blistered NC State 92-72. Pretty good performance, right, Glenn?
Well, absolutely. Duke did a terrific job maintaining their scoring margin.
The final score, Duke 92, NC State 72. For more on our game, join us on ESPN News. For Len Elmore and our entire crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's go back to Scott Reese.
Okay, Mike, thanks very much. So the Dukies improved to a perfect 6-0 in ACC play and an impressive come-from-behind victory over NC State.